Have you received a call from Infosys HR for Infosys Round 2? Or are you waiting for Infosys Round 2? Then don't skip this video. Because today I'm going to explain a real face to face interview experience, including exactly what was asked. Interview started with self introduction and then interview moved directly to DSA coding. There was a greedy problem, a linked list problem, and the candidate was also asked about the complexity and the space complexity. But that's not all. They also went deep into OS fundamentals, paging, semaphores, binary concepts, OOPS concepts, constructor, destructor, and SQL sequences. And most importantly, the project discussion was very deep. So if your Infosys round 2 is coming up, watch this video till the end because I'll break down every topic you need to compare. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Sunita Techie. If you are preparing for Infosys Specialist Programmer or Digital Specialist Engineer or other technical roles, this video is especially important for you. Today we are discussing an Infosys round 2 face-to-face interview experience. I have an handwritten list of topics discussed in this interview, and we are going to through them one by one. The interview covered self introduction, DSA, greedy algorithms, linked list, time complexity, space complexity, resume, core computer science, operating system, semaphores, paging, binary concepts, and difference between paging concepts, OOPS, constructor, destructor, SQL queries, detailed project discussion. And towards the end, I'll also tell you how you should prepare differently for this type of interview. If you're watching my channel for the first time, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. I'll also post daily top MNC updates from companies hiring updates. So let's start. First, the interview started with most common question self introduction. Tell me about yourself. Now, don't underestimate this question. Your self introduction can actually decide the direction of the entire interview. For example, you can say, "Good morning, sir. My name is Sunita and I recently completed my graduation in BTech. I have a strong interest in software development and problem solving. I have worked on projects involving like Java and like that. My technical skills include Java, Python, C++, SQL, data structure, and core computer concepts. And one of my major project was where I worked on. I'm particularly interested in this opportunity because it allows me to apply my technical skills and continue learning in a professional environment. Keep your introduction around 60 to 90 seconds. And one very important thing, don't mention anything on your resume that you cannot explain because interviewers may immediately pick one technology from your introduction and start asking that questions. While explaining your self introduction, be honest, keep it relevant, speak clarity, and show your passion towards the Infosys. After this self introduction, the interview moved to the DSA, and according to the experience, the candidates was asked coding problems involving greedy algorithm, linked list. The important point here that you should not prepare DSA only by memorizing solutions. The interview may ask like, why did you choose this approach? What is the time complexity? What is the space complexity? Can you optimize it? What examples for this edge case? So your preparation should include both coding and explanation. One important thing mentioned in is a greedy problems, described as being around medium level. Let's understand what is a greedy algorithm. A greedy algorithm makes the best possible choice at the current step, hoping that these local choices will eventually lead to the optimal solutions. So, a classic example is activity selection problem. Suppose you have multiple activities with start and finish times. Your goal is to select the maximum number of activities without overlapping. A common greedy strategy is select the activity that finishes earliest, then continue selecting compatible activities. The interview may ask like, why does this greedy strategy work? And that's where you need to understand the logic rather than the simply memorizing the code. You should be prepared explain like approach. why greedy works, algorithm, edge cases, time complexity, and space complexity. For example, if sorting is required, the complexity can commonly be 0n log n for sorting followed by 0n traversal. But remember, complexity depends on the exact problem and the implementation. So, the DSA, the linked list problems. The second DSA are mentioned here is the linked list. At minimum practices, for linked list, don't just prepare one problem. Just at minimum practices, you have to prepare like reverse a linked list, find the middle node, detect a cycle, find the sorting point of a cycle, merge two sorted linked list, remove duplicates, find the nth node from the end, reverse linked list in groups, and detect a palindrome linked list. For example, one of the most commonly asked question is reverse a linked list. You should be able to explain three important pointers: previous, current, next. Then you change the linked one by one. The interview may then ask, what is the time complexity? And for the standard interactive reversals, time complexity and space. This is the exactly why understanding the complexity is important. And time and space complexity. Another important point in the notes is time complexity and space complexity. Don't finish your coding question and immediately stop. After writing your solution, voluntarily explain like the time complexity of the approach is and space complexity is. The interviewer might ask, can you optimize it? You need to ready for the discussion. You should revise these topics. Also, understand common complexities of arrays, hash maps, and stacks, queues, linked list, binary search, sorting algorithms, trees, graphs algorithms. So, after DSA, the interviewer moved into the core concepts. This is extremely important for technical interviews. Even if you are good at coding, you should not ignore OS, OOPS, and DBMS, SQL, and computer networks basics. In this particular experience, OS and OOPS were discussed in detail. Let's talk about the operating system. According to the notes, questions included semaphores, paging, binary concepts, and difference between paging concepts. So let's quickly understand this. Semaphores. Semaphore is a synchronization mechanism used to control access to shared resources in concurrent systems. There are commonly two types. Binary semaphore, it is generally has two steps that can be used for mutual conclusion and exclusion. Counting semaphore, it can represent multiple available instances of a resource. A possible interview question is, what is difference between a mutex and a semaphore? You should understand the conceptual difference instead of memorizing one line definition. So another important OS topic is paging. Paging is a memory management technique where logical memory is divided into fixed size pages while physical memory is divided into fixed size frames. The operating system maps pages to frames. You should know page, frame, page table, and offset, page fault, virtual memory, physical memory, and TLB. The interview can easily convert one simple topic into multiple follow up questions. For example, what is paging fault? And why do we need to paging? And what is a page table? What is the difference between paging and segmentation? And so don't prepare topics in isolation. These notes also mention binary concepts. So reverse basic binary operations like binary to decimal and decimal to binary, binary addition, bitwise and bitwise or XOR, and left shift and right shift. Check whether a number is even or odd using bits. Setting and clearing bits. For coding interviews, bit manipulation can be useful. For example, n and 1 can be used to check whether an integer is odd or even. These basics can sometimes appear as a quick technical questions. So, next comes to one most important areas. Oops. According to the notes, the interview covered OOPS concepts, constructor and destructors. You should be absolutely comfortable with encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, and abstraction. Here we can discuss like encapsulation. What is encapsulation? Building data and methods together and controlling access to the data. And inheritance, one class acquiring properties and behavior from another class. Polymorphism, the same interface or method name behaving differently depending on the context. Abstraction, showing essential functionality while hiding implementation details. And then prepare constructor, destructor, method overloading, method overriding, and access modifiers, abstract class interface. One important tip, don't just give textbook definitions. Use a simple example. If interviewer asks what is polymorphism, don't simply say like polyform sorry, polymorphism means many forms. Instead, explain it with a practical example from your programming language. And another topic mentioned is SQL queries. So before attending in the interview, practice SQL at minimum. Prepare these topics. Prepare like select, where, group by, having, order by, join, inner join, left join, and right join, aggregate functions, and subqueries, distinct, and primary key, what is foreign key, and normalization. And some common interview questions are, find the second highest salary, find duplicate records, and find employees who don't have a department. Difference between where and having. Difference between delayed, drop, and truncate. Difference between inner join and left join. These are common SQL interview areas. And now, deep project discussion. Now comes probably one of the most important parts of the interview experience. Deep talk about the project. This is something many candidates underestimate. If your resume contains a project, don't assume the interviewer will ask only explain your project, and they may go much deeper. Prepare answers for what problem does your project solve? Why did you choose this project? What was your role? Which technologies did you use? Why did you choose that technology? Explain the architecture and explain the database. What challenges did you face? How did you solve these challenges? What happens if the number of users increases? What will you improve if you had more time? What was your biggest contribution? What did you personally implement? And most importantly, don't claim someone else's work as your own. If you worked only on the back end, clearly explain your back end contribution. And if you worked on front end, explain the front end work. The interviewer can ask follow up questions until they understand whether you are geniusly worked on the project. And another thing mentioned in the notes is resume. Suppose, for example, your resume itself can become your interview questions paper. Suppose you write Java. The interviewer may ask Java questions. And you write Python, they may ask Python. If you write in your resume as SQL, they may ask SQL related questions. If you put your skill as machine learning, they may ask related questions like machine learning. So, before attending your interview, take your resume and go line by line. For every technology, ask yourself, if the interviewer asks me 5 questions about this, can I answer? If the answer is no, either prepare it properly or reconsider how you present that skill. Now let's make this very practical. What should you prepare for Infosys Round 2? If you Infosys technical interviews coming up, divide your preparation into these categories. DSA, prepare topics like arrays, strings, linked list, stack, queue, hashing, sorting, and searching, recursion, greedy, trees, basic graphics. And core CS topics like prepare these topics. OOPS concepts, DBMS, operating systems, computer networks basics, SQL. Practice at least 5 to 20 important queries. And project. Prepare your project in depth. Resume. Know every line of your resume. Programming languages and choose the language you are strongest in and revise its fundamentals. And now, very important interview strategy. Here is one thing I want every candidate to remember. If the interview give you a coding problem, don't immediately start writing code. First, step 1, understand the problem. Step 2, ask clarifying the question if you not understand that. And step 3, explain your approach. Step 4, discuss the complexity. And step 5, write the code. Step 6, test with an example. Step 7, discuss edge cases. This makes your interview much more professional. Even if you don't know immediately the optimal solution, communicate with your thoughts process with the interviewer. Don't sit silently. And 5 things to remember. So let's quickly summarize this Infosys Round 2 experience. Number 1, prepare DSA, especially linked list, greedy, and other commonly asked patterns. And number 2, no time and space complexity. Don't just write the code. And number 3, prepare core CS and especially OS and OOPS concepts. Number 4, practice SQL and be comfortable with writing queries. Number 5, prepare your project deeply. Your project can lead a very detailed discussion. And finally, Your resume should contain only what you can confidently explain. That's all for today's video. If this video helped you understand what you can expect in Infosys technical interview, please like this video and share it with your friends who are preparing for Infosys. And if you are preparing for Infosys SP or DSE interviews, subscribe to my channel Surita Techie because I'll be sharing more interview experiences, questions, and preparation strategies and placement updates. And also, I will post daily hiring updates from top MNC companies like Infosys, Accenture, and Capgemini, and HTL, and more companies. Comment below Infosys Round 2 if you have received your Round 2 interview update. And if you are already attended the interview, comment with the questions you were asked because your experience may help another candidates prepare. I'll see you in the next video and all the very best for your interview journey with Infosys and career.